Right, we're going to have a few questions I've selected out. Apologies if I don't get to them all, but we have a lot more intel and interesting op-ed pieces. We'll expose a few. And let's start with the first question. A lot of native people had the idea that photography captures the soul. Was there any truth in that, in your opinion? Yes, there is. All the ancient tribes have the same idea. It does. A photograph captures a lot more than the eyes do. It sees in different wavelengths than most people's sight, and you can pick up certain things in it. The created selfie culture that we now live in is, of course, about collecting face images for the agencies, absolutely, but it's also about capturing small parts of your soul with each shot. Not only can you do that, but you can also see some of the spirits, not good ones as well. I've heard that the soul is in the sole of the foot. No, not quite. Not quite. My index-linked pension has been raised by 2.4%. My poll tax, water rates, house insurance has been up by 6%. How can I survive? Where is all our money going to? And it's not helping ordinary people. To fund private security groups that run the British government is where your money's going to. The likes of Carillion and Amy. It is they that run the British government, along with the Blue Dragon Group, who are affiliated with GCHQ and MI5, MI6. But it's up to the people, you know. You'll remember the person who asked the question, the demonstrations over the original poll tax, and it got stopped, and then people allowed them to sneak it in the back door when we should have carried on. Do we all go back to source if we don't reach the mental planes? Yes. We hear a lot about the new capital of the New World Order being in Jerusalem or Astana, Kazakhstan. If everything according to their made-up Masonic Jesuit science, seance, started with a big bang and these Kalimar folks started out in India, wouldn't they want to have it there? The capital of the New World Order is New York. Bar none. It's New York. It's where the finance and the Federal Reserve is. It's where the UN is. You name it. Wall Street. And a whole heap of other skullduggery. It's not Jerusalem. Never was. Jerusalem's not even a fixed place. It's transient. Why would the trust, I'm sure I've answered a similar question to this recently more than once. Why would the trust provide government with funds that goes to stupid things like $1 million flutes? Well, it's up to the people to start analysing what they're spending it on. You know, you could cite flutes, but why doesn't the whole public in any country, particularly Europe, the Western world, questions why they're spending so much on military? You know, there's always the outcry on silly items like dollar flutes and $450 toilets by the DOD. Toilet seats, I might add. And yet no one questions, or not enough question, is why we're giving our military $989 billion a year, with homeless on the streets and 1 in 6 children in poverty. You know, it's all about perspective and people analysing what the government is spending our money on. That's what most of the countries forgot. Just that simple, basic idea. Governments and banks don't have money. They have our money. And yet, we forget that. You know, if you give someone $25 to go and buy a meal and they come back with something else, would you be happy? Would you complain to that person? Yes, you would. Why is the government any different? It's supposed to be the guardian of our funds. Clearly it's not. And there's a lot of cleaning up to do. That's clear. But it also needs far more of the people than currently to make them accountable. If everyone starts making them accountable, do you think they're going to spend $1 million on a flute? Do you think they're going to spend $989 billion on military, or are they going to spend that on health, or actually teaching children, not turning them into computerized parrots? It's up to us to make them accountable. And with regards to the second part, no specifications by the trust on how the funds are spent, or limitations on what not to spend it on. I don't know where you're presuming that. Have you seen a contract by the trust? But, you know, if you have, and it's just, here's the money, how do you know that the trust is not putting limitations or exclusions on the funds being handed over? Because that's not the case. Some world leaders seem to have hopefully been flipped and are actively striving to follow Trump's lead. Scott Morrison of Australia seems to be the one. However, there are lots of innuendo that he's a deep state. Is this true? Likely. Also, Theresa May and Corbyn are trying to go against the people's wishes, no surprise, but Mr Hogg seems to be for the people. So did Mr Corbyn not so long back. He plays the good guy while the other one plays the bad guy. Both Corbyn and Mogg are, like Blair, part of the secret Fabian Society. Do you really think he's working for the people? It's all illusion. The whole lot of it is an illusion. All of them might want to do good for the people, including May. But while you've got the system telling them what they can say and what they can do, it's just a theatre play. You say this and you say the opposite. Make them believe this and we'll run this programme behind it. That's how government works. Instincts tell me that once the UK leaves the EU with no deal, that the structure of the cabal will start to fall quicker. Not necessarily, no. They fall when it's right. May go before. But it's not, what I'm suggesting is it's not linked. I understand that Kim has provided funding for the Vatican. You understand wrong. They requested, we did not send. I'm sure she has her reasons, but I fail to understand any reason that would perpetuate the Ninth Circle cult run by the Vatican. as she must know the Ninth Circle cult is the largest child sacrifice and pedophilia ring on the planet, and this organisation needs to be terminated, period. Can you help me understand the reasoning? The Ninth Circle cult goes way beyond, or way below, to put it in the correct terms, the Pope. The Vatican's not run by the man in the white dress, the man in the grey and black dress, and the ones in the red suits, red tunics, capes, run the Vatican, and the 13 bloodline families, and so does the mafia. It's all linked. So when the white Pope comes and asks for funds, and the conditions where he cleans up the mess and funds will then be sent, then we're open to that. He was open to that, and then they shut him down. That tells you he doesn't run the Vatican. It's all like politicians, be it presidents or prime ministers, they're just puppets in the game. But anyone from any organisation that wishes to go a different way than they did previously, and they can show proof that they're going to change, will be provided with the funds to do so. May not seem right to some people, but if people are willing to change, then we should give them that opportunity to fix it. He knows how deep it runs. To date, we have not seen any evidence proving that he was involved in child pedophilia or trafficking. The evidence we found on him was gun running for the Argentine junta when he was in Argentina. There is no connections between him, as I understand it, I could be wrong, and the Ninth Circle cult. Final question before we go into a piece before the music break. Was the New Zealand shooting connected to NATO? Is this linked to John Podesta being in New Zealand? John Podesta. Given Podesta was in New Zealand at the time, and Michael Obama was in Notre Dame at the time, and Pelosi was in Northern Ireland at the time of the shooting, and Samantha Power being in Sri Lanka, does that raise suspicions? Final news piece before we go into the music break. In March, the Mayor hastily proposed a 225-bed homeless shelter on the Embarcadero in the middle of a densely populated, diverse family neighbourhood, Reed Rich area in San Francisco. And we all want to help the homeless and fully support efforts to eliminate the causes of homeless, but the Mayor has put expediency over safety in choosing this location for the city's largest ever navigation centre. Now, the community is fully supportive of efforts to end homelessness, but just not in our back door or our backyard. South Beach is the home to Delancey Street Foundation, a residential facility helping former drug users recover from their addictions and others facing difficult situations, including the formerly homeless. Now, the East Cut is home to Rene Cazenave, which provides housing for the formerly homeless as well as most of the new affordable housing in the city. And according to this particular group, the rushed process the mayor is following to build the homeless shelter by the end of the summer is now raising concerns to the community. And the spokesman said, "We are worried that the rushed process puts the political goal of building a large navigation centre ahead of legitimate concerns about public safety, drug use and other problems that a large shelter may bring to the community." In my opinion, these facilities should be put into all the rich neighbourhoods as a reminder of their own selfish ways of operating. Who do these people think they are? These are the type of vacuous cretins who will ignore a human being on the street, but fund fake churches and fake cults. Same region, you know what I'm talking about. So to the residents of South Beach, San Francisco, who have raised $102,000 in 1 month, you people disgust me. You can raise $102,000 to protect your own privileged zone, but not support anyone inside of it. Really. Perhaps karma will apply one day, and given you are in a quake zone, maybe a good rattle there might reignite your few human caring brain cells. Like Manhattan, this is another place to boycott. Just selfish, shallow bastards. South Beach, San Francisco, and I don't care whether you like it or you don't.